Hello everyone. This is going to be kind of a long video. We've had a lot happen over the last couple of days. Wanted to wait until after the governor's announcement just now to record this video and send it. But I'm going to try to run through some of this pretty quickly so the video doesn't get too long for you on a Friday afternoon. If you don't have time to listen to it today, that's fine. I completely understand. But if you weren't watching, the governor had a press conference, started at 2 o'clock. I think it's still ongoing. He's talking budget now. But the important part of that press conference was that he did close schools down for the rest of the school year. So I don't think that's anything that was a big surprise to anyone, but one of the things we were trying to listen to is like what was going to be the official closing date of school, and the state board of education chairman mentioned that, and he said that we will run through the calendars that were set by the district. Some other states have closed schools down a little early when they've shut schools down for the rest of the year, but we did not do that. So we will be continuing in this phase 4 that we're in, remote learning plan phase 4, through the end of the last day of school. And I'll get more information. I can't remember that date right off the top of my head. It's like the 7th or 9th, but you can look up the calendar and know that we will be providing that to the students. All right, so yesterday there was another important decision that came out of the State Board of Education, and that was the grading decision. These were the two big decisions that I've been waiting on. And so this second decision, the State Board of Education decided that there were several options for 9th through 11th grades. You've already heard me talk about seniors. Seniors' grades are going to be based on their T4 grades. If they were passing at T4, they're going to get a P. If they weren't, they're going to get a withdrawal with an opportunity to make up. We've talked about the implementation of that has not come yet, so keep working with seniors on their T4 grade and trying to get that to a passing score. Well, now 9th through 11th graders come out. It's a little more complicated. I'm going to attach a document to this email as I'm talking that you may want to open up. It's called the Final FAQ One-Pager Student Grading and Promotion 423. So you may want to open that document up as I'm talking through this for you. But essentially, students are going to get a choice of what they want to do. They're going to have the choice of taking a numeric grade. That numeric grade can be no lower than the grade they had at the end, with the state's terminology is March 13th, but Union County is using T4. So if a student had a 75 T4, their grade can't go down. However, the state is indicating that based on participation in remote learning, their grade can improve from where it was at the end of when we close schools. So that's really important for you as teachers to understand. How we're going to do that yet is not out. There's still a lot of details, but there is encouragement for students to keep working. Now, first thing, some of you are going to say, well, what if they had an A at the end of T4? There's no incentive for them to work. And there is truth to that, and we'll just have to live with that. That's just part of it. Hopefully, those are the kind of students that will want to continue to work no matter what the situation is. The district will begin rolling this information out like they did to seniors shortly. We're not advertising this to kids as a school district yet. It's out there. It's in the news media. Many of you have seen it. I've already had several conversations with you. But the kids, we're not going to just like roll this out to them. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. If they ask you questions, you can answer them honestly. Nobody's asking you to lie to a child. All right, so again, their first option is to take their numeric grade. Their second option will be to take a PASS, a PC-19 code, for their second semester class. And again, if they were passing at the end of first semester, that can mean that an unmotivated student could just sit on that passing score and do nothing. Again, hopefully the encouragement that they could improve it would make them want to keep working, but that's not going to be true of all students. The final option is they can take a withdrawal from the course. And what you notice is missing from all the options is a failure. There's no failures this semester. They will either take their numeric score, which will count in their GPA, they'll take a pass, or they'll take a withdrawal, which will not count in their GPA. We will be working through this with students as time goes on. Not exactly sure of the implementation of that, but likely you'll be involved in trying to help students understand what their best option is. And continuing to work in remote learning to improve their grade, of course, is the one that we would all accept. So those are the options. You can read the details in the document that's on this email. If you have questions, please call me. But those are the options. Take the numeric score, take a pass, or take a withdrawal from the course. Again, this is based on their T4 score to start with, but then could improve with participation in remote learning, so we'll need to continue to track that. It's my contention that you need to be the keeper of the final numeric grade, but again, we work in a school system, so we'll have to work within the school system to see how we implement this across the district. But right now, it is my contention that you will be in charge of that final numeric grade, whatever that is. There may be some parameters that are placed on us, though, as we go along, so watch for that. Right now, it's about encouraging students to continue to participate in remote learning, especially 9th through 11th graders, because they can improve their grade, but overall because we want them to keep learning. The state board talked a lot about grace and opportunity in their speech yesterday. If you are in their presentation yesterday, if you watched it, grace for students, making sure that students understand that we are here for them. We want to have them be successful. So grace, grace, grace. Please understand that is the charge from the State Board of Education. Opportunities to improve grades, opportunities to keep learning, opportunities to pass courses and get credits. The idea is to try to keep students as whole as possible. So that's the environment we're working in. That's going to be frustrating working with some students who don't take advantage of all those opportunities and use some of the grace to their advantage to not take advantage of all that, but that's okay. That's just where we are. We're going to come back at some point in the future, and we'll have to pick up all this and deal with it then. And those will be plans that will be coming together. Please understand all this will be teacher discretion. Nobody's going to step in and tell you how you have to do this, but please use the grace and opportunity charge. There's a fine line between encouraging students and adding stress to them. Some students are in tough situations and they don't have the ability without high-speed internet and support at home to really take advantage of all the opportunities. So just please understand that we do want to encourage. We do not want to back off. Students who we've lost track of, we want to recall, we want to reconnect, we want to re-engage with those students. But at some point in time, we don't want to be a stressor to a child who's already got something bad going on in their life. So keep that in mind. Also understand that it can be difficult to gauge what 90 minutes is. Some students already have started saying that what's going on in some classes is 90 minutes and what's going on in some other classes is more or less. Try your best to gauge what 90 minutes is. Work within your PLCs to try to figure out what 90 minutes is and be providing 90 minutes twice a week to your students during this phase 4 of the remote learning plan. Remember, 9 through 12, all students 9 through 12 can work to improve their T4 grade. Anything that occurred during T4, really before March 11th when we left for the E. coli scare, can be graded and regraded. So just keep that in mind as you go along, that 9th graders 10th graders, 11th graders, 9th through 11th graders can also redo work, retake tests and quizzes, much like what we've been doing with seniors. They all can do that to try to get that T4 grade up. Remember, a lot of this whole plan is based on their T4 grade, and then what happens after we can use for improvement. Again, don't know how much improvement yet. There may be some guidelines that come out on that. So just continue to work with students on stuff during T4 as well as the remote learning plan. Continue to track your participation. Next week, we're going to track it a little different. I'm going to ask you to track it by students who actually turn something in, do some work and turn it back in. That's a different layer. The form next week, I'll send it out early next week, will be reworded to capture that language. This week it was just kids who've logged in, who you know are paying attention. Next week it will be kids who actually turn something in. So keep that in mind as we move into next week. And you're allowed to track this participation however you want to so that you're keeping up with whether or not a student's grade is going to improve or not. Another good piece of news, we've been given the permission to begin registration again. So we are pushing that out. It's already out on social media. Emails have already been sent to students. We need you every time you talk to a student from this point forward to ask them, have they done the registration process? If they have not done the registration process, we need them to do it. We still have about 400 9th through 11th graders who haven't completed the registration process. It's going to be very difficult to run a master schedule and complete registration if we don't get that number down lower and lower and lower. So please help us with that. Email your students, tell them if they've not done registration to do it, and every time you talk to a kid, remind them about registration. All right, Teacher Appreciation Week's coming up May 5th. Ms. Carter, there will be an attachment to this email or some wording in this email from Ms. Carter about clubs doing something nice for Teacher Appreciation Week. So look that up, and if your club's interested, get with Ms. Carter on that. There'll also be information coming out about 504s from the counselors. You're going to have to start documenting your accommodations and modifications for 504s. IEPs are really being done by the special education staff, our EC staff, but you guys are going to have to help us with the 504. So watch for that information coming from counselors and help us with that information. Tech Friday next week will be 9 to 11 on Friday. 9 to 11 on Friday. We've been doing it on Thursdays. We're going to move that to Friday from 9 to 11. Help us get that information out to students. If you run across a student who is purporting to have technology issues, tell them Friday 9 to 11. Try to use a student help desk ticket if you can, but if not, just show up at the school between 9 and 11. Mr. Duke and I will help them out. Intention forms are out there. We still got quite a few staff who need to turn those in. We're probably 75-80% turned in. They're not due till the 30th. I know that, but I'm just reminding you, please do your intention forms. All right, I'm looking through my notes here just to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover. I'm sorry for being a little long there, but do want to make sure that we cover everything in detail. Look at the attachment to the email about the grading. Call me if you have questions or feel like you need clarification. Look over the stuff from Ms. Carter. Please make sure you help with Teacher Appreciation Week. And stay safe and healthy most of all. Miss all of you. Go Jacket Nation.